I'm not going to derobe Asher here.
Sorry, Laura.
But we do, I know so many disappointed people in the house.
We're all adults.
Now, right?
Come on.
Like 5 hours later.
Look, this is not my decision to make, y'all. All right? I am legally bound to keep this man draped and covered. All right? Now, if you go right, and so sacrum is part of the spine. If you follow the spine down, you eventually find sacrum, right? It's totally fine to press on the sacrum. It's not going to feel unusual. It's not going to be uncomfortable. You don't need to go down and find coccyx, which is also okay, but it's not something that you necessarily need to do. It's definitely not something you need to do right now, okay? What you need to do is find sacrum, head to the side that you're on, find the edge of the sacrum. That's where you're going to find glute max, right? Edge of the sacrum, posterior iliac crest. It does emerge down towards that coccyx, but just worry about the sacral portion. That's where we're going to treat, and we're going to treat posterior iliac crest. Now, that's the origin of the muscle. Sacrum, posterior iliac crest, right here, okay? So that's the origin, that's the first dot of the 2 dots we're gonna connect. Now with this muscle, there's gonna end up being 3 because it has 2 separate insertions. What did I do with my leg? My bone leg. Here it is, okay. So as this tissue comes down from the sacrum and the iliac crest, half of the fibers are going to stop right here. They're just going to come across the gluteal region and insert right here. This is called the gluteal tuberosity. So you're going to see one insertion as the gluteal tuberosity. You're also going to see that it travels down the whole lateral leg into the lateral condyle of the tibia, which seems kind of wild, right? That's a very long distance for it to travel, but glute max is one of 2 muscles that forms the iliotibial band. I think all of us have heard of the iliotibial band, usually under poor circumstances, like why in the world does my knee hurt? Why does my hip hurt? Oh, you need to roll out your IT band. What's that? Oh, it's this. You know, it's just a big old tendon for glute max and a muscle you'll learn called TFL. Those 2 muscles form this IT band, and it travels. This is the tendon of the muscles. But some tendons get their own name, like the Achilles is just a tendon, but it gets its own name. The hamstring tendon, it didn't get a name. It's just tendon of the hamstrings. It's not special. This one's special.
Not special.
Most tendons are not special, guys. They're just not special. This one is, so it gets its own name. So half the fibers into that gluteal tuberosity, the other half through that iliotibial band into the lateral condyle of the tibia. Now, again, discrepancy here. Your book does not include glute max as a knee flexor. Some books will include it as a knee flexor. It does cross the knee. For our purposes and for this book and for your test preparation, you're going to need to know it definitely as a hip extensor. Okay, so lifting the leg up towards the ceiling, Asher.
The gluteus maximum.
So it's a strong hip extensor, man. That thing is rock hard right now, solid, right? That's hip extension. Lateral rotation. So if he comes up and adds lateral rotation, you can see he gets even more contractile force through it. It's a strong lateral rotator. It's also involved in spinal extension. Extend the spine, get lots of glute activation. Okay. Think about the attachments for it, right? The attachments here and the attachments out here. That's going to shorten it. That's definitely going to shorten it. Look at that attachment towards the sacrum. Look at them move closer together in lateral rotation, right? So when you laterally rotate, those fibers are getting closer together.
So squats would be the best way to work out glute max.
If you do them correctly.
Okay.
That's the caveat. And there are a lot of pieces that go into a squat. It's an incredibly complicated human movement. Mm-hmm. You're asking your lower body to move one direction in the joints and your upper body to move the other direction. But in a proper functional squat, yes, it is very hip extension dominant. But if you get knee travel forward, for instance, you're getting way more into your quads because the movement arm is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the answer to that question depends on how a person is squatting. Typically, not
The answer is squat rack.
Squat. Yeah, if you do like a hex squat or use a squat rack, a Smith machine, it cleans it up. But then again, is somewhat, and that's going to be a loaded squat, so which is fine for most people. Sometimes those racks give people the illusion they can squat more than they can, but they are safe. They are safer.
Okay.
Less dynamic, so less joint stability in those.
So that covers all that.
That's everything for today.
Okay.